that information on Nebraska Career Connections. So the first thing that you need to do is log into Nebraska Career Connections. And you do that through nebraskacareerconnections.org. It will take you to this Cooter page, and then you will log in. And your username I will share with you. Your password will be Mustangs with a capital M. What I want you to do is research a career that you are interested in. And if you don't know what a career is that you're interested in, I'll talk about that in a little bit of how you can research and find some of that information. So when you log into Nebraska Career Connections, on the left-hand side, you can explore career occupations. So click on that, and you can explore in several different ways. I'm going to show you first how to explore an occupation by title. If you click on that and type in a title, I'll use physical therapist as an example. There will be a number of different options that are listed below when you look in that. And when I look at physical therapists, there is the physical therapists themselves, the physical medicine and rehabilitation physicians, physical therapist aide, or physical therapist assistant, or therapist all other. I'm going to look at the physical therapist. So once you click on that, that will open up information about that career. The first page is the overview page, and it gives you a brief overview of that career. What is that career? What are some of the jobs that that occupation entails? And then it will give you an average or a national annual salary range. It will tell you your entry-level education, which is a doctorate degree. It will tell you the expected openings over the next 10 years in number, as well as a percentage. So you will come back and you'll look at that. There's a little video clip that you can watch about that too. And then there are other tabs here that we'll be looking at. So the first thing on your worksheet is to name that occupation, and please use the title as it is shown on Nebraska Career Connections. And then it asks you to look at the pathway and name that. So that is listed right here. We'll come back to that in a few minutes as well. The next thing on your worksheet is to list at least 5 tasks that a physical therapist does. There are some of those listed here, and you can get 5 there, but I want you to also look at all of that information. The more that you know, the more that you'll have an understanding of that career, and the more that you know if it will really fit into what you want and desire and are capable of doing. And you'll be happier when you have that information once you make a career choice. So when we go under the tasks and conditions page, there are additional tasks, and I want you to look at all of those tasks so you have a good understanding of what a physical therapist really does. The next thing on your worksheet is to answer questions about working conditions. The first thing is the work setting. Where does that person work? As you can read on my screen here, physical therapists work in hospitals, outpatient clinics, and private offices. So that is the work setting. The work conditions, how many hours are they working? Is it ever stressful? Is it physically demanding? That's what you're answering when you're looking at work conditions. So with physical therapy, they are moving a lot. They have to lift heavy equipment. They may be lifting patients. And it says that they typically work a 40-hour week, which might include evenings and weekends. So those would be the working conditions. The next thing that you are looking for are skills. And I want you to look at skills under education and experience first. You see there is a tab here that does highlight skills. We'll look at that in a moment. So under education and experience, under other qualifications is where you might find some of those skills. Physical therapists should have strong interpersonal and communication skills so they can educate patients about their condition and physical therapy treatments and communicate with families. They should also be compassionate and possess a desire to help people. So you can list a few of those skills, and because there's not 5 there, then go to the skills tab. And these are more generalized skills. Communication is almost always there, managing time, sometimes problem solving, understanding written sentence. Those common things that you need in any occupation are listed there. The other thing that you are looking at is the education. And remember on the overview page, it said that this person needs to have a doctorate degree. So they are going to go for 4 years of college plus 4 years of medical school, not to get a physician's degree, but a doctorate degree in physical therapy. Once you look under education, it will tell you that you need a post-baccalaureate degree from an accredited physical therapy program. And you can read a little bit of information. Doctorate degrees are at least 3 years beyond college that is listed here. Then the next question on your worksheet is, do you need certification or licensing? Let me explain the difference. Licensing is a requirement for a job. A doctor has to be licensed. A lawyer has to be licensed. A teacher has to be certified. Licensing is usually passing exams and having the education done. Certification is more along the lines of having training in something. I have my teaching certification, so I can be a teacher in the state of Nebraska, but I also have certification so I can teach CPR. I have certification so I can teach Serve Safe in the food industry. Those are things that I have had specialized training, which allow me to do other things. So a physical therapist must be licensed. How do they get that license? They have to pass their exam after graduating from an accredited school, and that information is listed here. As far as advancement, that's the next question on your worksheet. How can this person advance in their career? So usually physical therapists are going to start out working under others. They may work in a setting such as a hospital or a clinic or an office for other people. They might eventually work where they're earning more money or be a manager or a supervisor. So as we look at advancement under Nebraska Career Connections, it says physical therapists are expected to continue their professional development by participating in continuing education. Some physical therapists become board certified and specialize in things. They also may start working in academia, in other words, teaching, or they may be involved in research, which might be an opportunity for them to advance. And then some become self-employed. For example, they might open their own practice, their own clinic. So that is their advancements. Almost in any job, you might be able to move up to a supervisor or a management position. Those are advancement. There is also a question of what you can do during your high school years. So looking at the education, sometimes it will give you information about the college courses, biology, anatomy, physiology. Those are things that you can also take at the high school level. So what classes should you take? These are some of those things that you might want to consider. Mathematics, statistics, those are additional things. What kind of things can you do in high school activity-wise to be prepared for this career? Well, be involved in sports, being involved in medical explorers, being involved in any activity actually helps you be a better employee because you learn teamwork and you learn responsibility. So those are things that you can list for high school activities. The next question asks about your salary. And your salary, I want you to list as a range. So that would be the lowest number to the highest number that can be earned. And I want you to list it for both the state as well as for the U.S. So in Nebraska, a physical therapist averages or has the range of salary between $54,500 to $100,650. In the U.S., that salary range is $59,080 to $122,650. So you can see that sometimes the national wage is higher than the Nebraska wages, but you have to consider that living in Nebraska is less expensive than living in other parts of the U.S. too. So that might be an advantage. When you're looking at the number or the outlook, go back to the overview page, and there is that number of job openings that they expect in the next 10 years. Here is the percentage of increase. So this would be a career that would be a good opportunity for you to get into because there's a 21.9% increase. There's going to be a lot of need for people in this profession. The last question is on related occupations, and you can click that tab, and there are a number of related occupations that are listed here, and much of these make sense because they're all medically related. Sometimes you get into these and you don't understand why those occupations are listed. In that case, go back up to the top, click on that pathway. This one is therapeutic services, and here it has pages of related careers. And we could see that chiropractors are here. We could see that occupational therapy is going to be here, which is dealing with more fine motor skills or everyday living skills like feeding or eating or dressing, compared to the occupation or the physical therapist might be working more with arms and legs and more gross motor skills. They often work very hand in hand. But you could see that that chiropractor might be somewhat related. Actually, being an athletic trainer might be somewhat related. So you could see those as related occupations. Remember that when you're looking at the pathways, that it's wise to select all levels of education. If I take that out and only limit it to high school completion, I'm never going to find physical therapy because it requires a college education. So open that to all in order to be able to see all the opportunities. So the way that I explored that occupation was by title, and then I typed in the physical therapy in this instance, and then I was able to find that in research information. You can also look by your assessment results. And my assessment results showed several different career pathways that I might look at. And I could look at information here and click on any one of these, and it would take me into that career. Another great way to look at is by career clusters. So over under Explore Occupations, occupations suggested by career pathways. And maybe I am interested in health services, so I can find that of one of these 16 different career pathways. Finance is in there, education, human services is in there, information technology is in there, agriculture, architecture, you can see all of those different ones. But if I was interested in health sciences and I wanted to be serving patients, that's going to be under the therapeutic services. So I could click there, and it's going to show all of these different occupations. I'm going to just jump way up here. Speech language pathologist, for example, is under there, and that would be interesting to me. So I can click on that, and there it takes me right into that occupation. So this is how you can research occupations. I want you to consider the one that you feel that you are most interested in right now and search that. If you have no idea what you want to do, I would suggest that you go by clusters and pathways and see what things are interesting to you there. The assessment results are another possibility to look at, but when you go to pathways, I can say agriculture, maybe I'm interested in that. That also includes food. Architecture, that might be kind of interesting. Arts, maybe I'm not so interested in that. I would skip over that. I might be interested in any one of these, or I may skip over those. You can click on those, check out what they entail, and that might be a way to also find a way to really consider what you might want to do and find the information related to that.